Anna here, and today I'm going to talk about a game that makes me all happy in my tummy because I love ice cream, and that is going to be Rocky Road a la mode. In this game of competitive ice cream truck people, you are going to try to sell all of that flavorful ice cream to all of the people in your neighborhood. But other ice cream sellers are going to try to get rid of you and to try to sell their own ice cream. I'm first going to show you how this is going to work, and then I'm going to tell you if this ice cream had a good flavor or not. In Rocky Road a la mode, you are going to try to be the best ice cream seller you can be, and by that way trumping all the other ice trucks. How are you going to do this? It is your turn if you are the player that is the most behind. So for an example, if all the players would be here and this would be the blue player, then the blue player's turn it is. When it is your turn, you are going to have the option out of 3 different actions. And of course, before you can sell any ice cream, you have to get ice cream. So the first action that you're going to be able to take is take ice cream from the cards from the row right here. When you're going to do this, you have to announce how many cards you want to take. So for example, I will say, I want 3 cards. And that is the amount of steps you have to take on the board. And so in that way, when your turn is finished, another player's turn is going to come around, and that is going to be the player that is then the most behind. So that would be the pink player in that way. But let's get back to getting your supplies to sell ice cream. So like I said, I wanted 3 cards, and then you are allowed to take cards from the cards that are already available, but you can also take a random card from right here. So what are the things you have to look out for when taking cards? Every card has a certain amount of symbols on it. The first one that is important is this one when taking cards, because that tells you what kind of ice cream it is going to be when you are going to fulfill an order. So for example, if I would get this order, I needed blue ice cream, pink ice cream, and another pink ice cream that I don't have yet. And those cards you have to get rid of if you want to fulfill that order. So it's important to see what kind of ice cream a card is. The second thing is of course the orders that you can see right here, and some other things that I'm now going to explain to you. So the moment that you have your cards and you have some ice cream to sell, you are of course going to need customers, and that is going to be the second action, getting customers. When you are going to try to get a customer, you are going to choose one of your cards, and then you are going to have to, of course, pay a penalty for playing all that loud music to attract those customers. So for this card, it would be 1 step that you have to take, and for these cards, it is going to be 3 steps. You're going to take that step. It would now be the turn of the pink player, like I said, because it's the most behind. And then you are allowed to put that card underneath your ice cream truck. And from that moment on, you are going to be able to do the third action, which is going to be selling ice cream to your customers. So, like I said, this customer needs a yellow popsicle and a sundae ice cream, a pink sundae ice cream. And look at that, I have those 2 cards. So now I'm going to be able to get rid of those cards. And the moment I do that, I'm going to slide the card like this. So now the second order is shown. When I do this, I always only need to take 1 step, which would be the orange player right now, because that is the player that is most behind. And the moment you also fulfill your second order, which is also going to take you 1 step, you are going to slide the card to the side, indicating that you scored a point and also that you got a bonus from now on. And this ice cream bonus is going to make sure that you have to spend 1 less pink ice cream when you are going to serve their customers. So that is of course a big advantage. The other thing that is important while getting these ice cream bonuses is the fact that if you get a triple size of them, so if you get 3 yellow ones, 3 blue ones, or 3 pink ones, you are going to get this bonus card, which is going to score you a lot of points. Are you also going to score points if you're not the first one? Yes, of course. If you are second in scoring that, you're still going to get 2 points. It's not the 4 points, but it is still going to give you something. So again, you have these 3 actions: getting cards, making sure you have customers by playing the card underneath the card, and serving your customers by getting rid of the cards that show the order that the customer then at that moment needs. The game is going to end when a player has 9 or more points, and at that point in time, everyone that is still behind can still do actions until they caught up with that player, and then the game is going to end and we're going to check who has the most points. Last thing I want to point out are these extra ice cream tokens right here. If you step on them, you are going to get them, and it is going to be a joker for one of your ice cream orders so that you don't need all of those cards. And when you use that, you're going to get rid of it and you're going to put it on the next free spot like this. And that is going to be the game of Rocky Road a la mode. First of all, the artwork and the theme. I love this theme. It is so much fun, and everyone that I played it with thought it was so much fun as well. It is just going to transport you to those good old days where you heard the bell of the ice cream truck and you were running towards the ice cream truck with your couple of pennies to get that flavor that you wanted. The artwork is a little bit creepy though. I can show you this. It is very colorful, but it has these creepy people in all these weird colors, like these twins that are green for some reason. I didn't find this very, it was maybe a little bit disturbing. I didn't really have an issue with it. It was funny to me, and it was an interesting way to do your artwork. But I can understand that with the theme, if you want to play this with your children, maybe they're going to find this a little bit disturbing. The game has a really nice pace to it, and it is excellent to play with new players. All the players also are going to get a little ref sheet where they're going to see what they are going to be able to do, which is excellent. It's an excellent help when you're going to teach the game. And the game, like I said, has a really nice pace to it, and this is because of the fact that you only have 3 actions, and it is pretty logical which action you are going to do at a given moment. If you do not have ice cream, you need ice cream, so you're going to get ice cream cards. If you have the ice cream, but you have no one to sell them to, you are going to try to play the cards underneath your ice cream truck so you have some customers to serve your ice cream to. And then you are going to try to solve all the orders that the different customers have so you can score those points. That's also something that I also really enjoyed about this game, that it can be pretty thinky what you're going to and when you're going to do something, but it is very compact. You can always take it with you because one card practically does everything. They did not get anything extra. They just thought about how can we put everything on the card. And at the beginning, that's very easy. It's also very easy to explain the game because you're like, okay, this is going to be the orders. This is going to be what the ice cream is going to be when you're going to try to solve an order. And that's a nice thing that cards do multiple things. And you have to think about, am I going to use this card as an ice cream? Or am I going to use it as an order? Something that is going to help you make that choice is the fact that every card is going to score differently. And sometimes, especially for new players, something that you can really help you is the fact that you want to go for those cards that have those bonuses. Because one, if you have a bonus, you're going to be able to faster solve the next order. And if you have 3 of the same or 3 different ones, you are going to be able to score those extra points, a little bit like in Splendor. And that is the other thing in the game that I really liked, is the fact that there are multiple ways to score points. But you definitely see that the people that go for a little bit more of an engine building thing here with this are going to mostly be the ones that are victorious. these are going to be the more expensive cards. So I also saw some people win that just went for the more cheaper cards and did that very fast, and in that way won the game. So it's just a little bit of a balance between, am I going to go for those bonuses, or am I just going to try to rush and get the whole neighborhood served with lovely ice cream. Like I said earlier, the gaming has a nice pace to it, and the game is going to end faster than you think, because the game doesn't really have a set number of rounds that you're going to play. The players themselves are going to determine when the game is finished, and that is when you score more than 9 points, and then everyone else is also going to be able to do their turn. So you want to wait as long as possible to do that, because then you want to be as close to the 9 as possible and then score some extra points, because other people are going to be able to do another turn if they're going to be behind you and then catch up to you or even get more points than you have. So you don't really want that. And I thought the game had, because of this modular thing, when the game was going to end, it had a nice pace to it, and it was exciting until the end, because the other players were still going to be able to win. The other thing that you of course have is the board. The board was a very good visual way and reminder to see whose turn it was, because you're not going to play clockwise or counterclockwise or anything like that. The player that is going to be the last player is the player the player that is behind is the player that's going to do their turn. And this gives some interesting things to think about, because sometimes then, because you're always the last one, you can do multiple actions in a row if you plan them correctly. And sometimes you're going to be like, okay, I can do 4 steps now, but then I have to wait a long time before I am going to be able to do my turn again. So it gives some nice, interesting choices, and it is a little bit like if you play Patchwork, it's the same as that, but then for more players. And I think that is a really nice mechanic, and a mechanic that they should do in more games, because it gives a nice pace to the game and some interesting choices to make. Because if you're too greedy and do too much at once, you're going to be stuck waiting for a very long time until everyone is past you. And also on the board you had this multiple places where you're going to have a joker. Was a nice addition, didn't really change that much of the gameplay, but if you were able to do it, it was of course always a good thing to do. And with these things there were also some other variants that you could play with putting some other things on that board. In conclusion, I really loved Rocky Road a la mode, and I think this is an excellent game to play with your non-board gamer friends or with your family. And this one is also an excellent game to take along with you. It is just interesting and so exhilarating to see how much they were able to do with how little of a box and how many components they had. And you're going to be really surprised by this game, and it is going to, with that interesting theme, is just going to give you and serve loves all around the table. And I think for that you should really try out Rocky Road a la mode.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at dicetower.com.